just like to remind some Labour councillors here tonight who are newly elected that Labour were silently complicit, if not voting for austerity at the time. So check your facts before. And I think also Labour need to sort of get their own house in order before they go throwing stones. I completely agree with what has been said about Tory austerity. It's been an absolute shambles. But when good people stand by and do nothing and are silently complicit, just look at your own house, get your own house in order. Look, you have 53.5% of the vote, yet you've got 92% of the seats. Preparing an alternative budget is difficult to wiggle some of the information out of officers. I wasn't going to mention this, but I'm going to mention it given some of the things that have been mentioned tonight. There is, according to the annual infrastructure funding statement in last year, there's over 61 million in the Section 106 and SIL fund over a year ago, 38 million of which is unallocated. Lambeth are sitting on a heck of a lot of assets, and they should be sweating those assets to help further the plans and protect the most vulnerable in our borough. We're only one of 7 boroughs in a prominent slice of central London, but we're hemorrhaging money, leaving slices vacant across the borough. Now, look, everyone here will agree that Lambeth residents need safe, social and truly affordable housing. We all have the right to clean air and a richer, greener environment, to efficient green transport and support through the cost of living crisis. The Greens' proposals would help secure this, and we're happy to work with all members in this room. We won 22% of the vote last year. Will this ever be reflected in Labour's approach to this budget? I join Councillor Griffiths in expressing our regret that we find ourselves in a political Groundhog Day every year, our proposals dismissed only to be adopted without any acknowledgement. Is this really serving the best interests of our residents in solidarity against such an uncaring government? Last year, Green Councillor Pete Elliott said, estate regeneration and Homes for Lambeth are costing people their lives, homes and communities. We need to wind up HFL and give the hundreds of households in temporary accommodation and regen estates permanent secure tenancies. We asked officers how much it would cost to bring HFL in-house. This was rejected, dismissed, unfeasible, unbalanced. But Lord Kerslake agrees with us. And a year later, this is exactly what is happening. Millions could have been saved if this was accepted at the time. By hanging on doggedly to HFL, Labour put officers in an impossible position, unable to cost our plans. The Citizens' Assembly said they wanted the council to go further, faster in getting to net zero. The Local Government Association estimates almost 2,000 jobs will be created in Lambeth by 2030 in the low-carbon sector. The Kerslake report agrees with us and recommended rolling out a training package for all staff in low-carbon development. Kerslake also recommends building to low-carbon standards now, making that investment, providing a long-term investment to residents and the communities as a whole, reducing the need for costly retrofit in the future, energy-efficient homes, lower bills, and providing positive quality of life. Climate change is only mentioned twice in all of the budget documents. If it's not in the budget, it's not going to happen. Show more political leadership in this. We have been engaging with officers about accelerating retrofit and to set higher environmental standards for homes and public buildings. To deliver on net zero by 2030, Lambeth should be retrofitting well over 20,000 homes per year. As far as we're aware, less than 50 have been retrofitted. One of our proposals was to do a fuller retrofit on 227 tenanted street properties, thinking it makes sense just to interrupt these residents' lives just once, given that they're getting some energy efficient measures fitted already. Rejected. We have unlocked millions of pounds by widening the increases to emissions-based parking charges, so the most polluting vehicles, such as SUVs, pay more. This has allowed us to place climate at the top of Lambeth's budget agenda, reversing Labour's climate punishing proposals to use digital screen advertising to fill in staving gaps in the budget. Digital screens that use enough electricity to power hundreds of households for a year. Do Labour members remember their climate pledges? We're living through a climate and energy crisis. Our proposal of a workplace parking levy has still not been introduced, despite senior Nottingham officers Nottingham officers making a direct offer to Lambeth to help get one off the ground. The A23 is one of the most polluted roads in London, causing a public health crisis. One line, if I may, Madam Mayor. And misery for everyone who lives on it or near it. The council commissioned a desktop study to estimate the quality of a workplace parking levy in the borough, completed in 2020. It has still not been published.
Your time is up.
I beg your pardon, most humbly.
You can't continue. Sorry.